Ever since the new wave of Minecraft YouTubers came in, it feels like there is some sort of scandal surrounding them once a month at the very least. I'm old enough to remember the good old days of Allier, DanTDM, and popular MMOs to name a few, and the worst thing that ever came out of that was clickbait. Today I'll be talking about Wilbur Soot, whose allegations morphed from non-consensual biting to something even worse. Let's get into it. Wilbur started his YouTube journey all the way back in 2008, running a channel called Setting 66, where he would upload videos of him hanging out with friends and playing World of Warcraft. He would go on to make tons of different channels throughout the years, but what would propel Wilbur to his peak was his Wilbur Soot channel, where he would upload Minecraft videos. Wilbur would gain over 6 million subscribers in the span of 3 years, but his channel had been inactive for a year and a half coming into March of 2024 while he focused on his Twitch streams. But what would happen next brought him into the public conversation for all the wrong reasons. Shubble, who was an ex-girlfriend of Wilbur's, accused him of non-consensual biting on her Twitch stream.
He always cared more about how it looked, and that was really important, not what was true. And it was really subtle. When I hear about physical abuse, I think of hitting. I think of hitting and punching. So I thought that this wasn't violent enough. To be abuse. I thought that it was just like a constant accident that he kept hurting me. But he's not hitting me. And it didn't start as something that he did to hurt me. He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now. But he said that he had this habit since he was a kid. And even his mom said that that was true. And he said it was just affectionate. And that might have been... I think that might have been true maybe at the start, but I also feel that I have good reason to believe that every part of it was a lie, but that's just my personal opinion. And I had no problem with just biting. That isn't even the most uncommon thing. But he did mention something early that I should have taken as a red flag. And he wanted to make sure that I was okay with him biting me because he didn't want me to come back later and say that he abused me, which I thought was really weird considering he had never hurt me before. And so why would I call it abuse? And why was he thinking about that? And I thought he was being sweet, checking on me to make sure that I was still comfortable. But of course I was, because he hadn't hurt me. And why would I think he ever would? And then he did for the first time by accident. And I don't specifically remember the actual first time that he bit me too hard by accident because I didn't think that it would be significant. I thought that it would only happen once. And he started biting me more and more over a period of time, sort of throughout the whole relationship.
She would then go on to claim that Wilbur would bite her in front of friends, and the marks that he left were so bad that they resembled bruises from a beating.
And he disguised it as this really quirky part of our relationship and was so comfortable sharing it with his friends to the point that he would do it in front of them. He thought it was this really funny story to tell and a good bit to take my arm and bite me in front of everybody until I literally shout in pain. And then I have to laugh it off because I'm so embarrassed and I don't want to cause a scene in front of all of our friends. And I'm sure everyone was a little bit uncomfortable, but as long as I was saying that it was fine, nobody really felt like they needed to be concerned, and that's not anybody's fault because I was lying. I was lying, and it wasn't fine because I would go home later and I'd tell him how uncomfortable I was, how much I didn't like being hurt all the time. And I needed him to really stop biting so hard. I didn't like it, and I tried telling him over and over again because he wasn't actually trying at all to not hurt me. But he said he would try at first. And then he started saying things like, it was my pain tolerance that was too low, or I'm exaggerating how much it actually hurts. He's not even biting that hard. I'm being dramatic. But his biting escalated to a point where I was covered in bruises all over my arms. And they hurt, and he would poke at them for fun. And he even felt so comfortable showing off my bruises that he had caused. to our friends because he would bite me so hard by accident. By accident, he would even joke that it looked like he abused me. And eventually he did acknowledge how bad it looked that I was covered in bruises all the time. So he stopped biting my arms as often, and he started biting my legs instead.
There was immediately a ton of backlash sent Wilbur's way, partially due to something called the Minecraft tax. I can't claim the phrase as my own, but put simply, it means that the audience you cultivate determines how controversy surrounding you is discussed. If you're a Minecraft YouTuber, you're put in a position to make tons of money. But because of the audience that they have being largely comprised of teenage girls who statistically tend to lean left, meaning that they are more likely to support movements like Me Too and Believe All Women. This means that when a woman comes out against one of these YouTubers, the accusers tend to be believed without a second thought. Compare this to someone like Larix being accused, and you can see that the accuser is taken a lot less seriously. The fact that the accusation didn't even get his name right definitely did not help, but that's a discussion for another day. As for Wilbur, he would go on to put out a statement about the situation on Twitter. In the past week, a series of allegations have been made over my conduct from an ex-girlfriend. I want to emphasize that, although I feel it fair to offer my perspective, this person's feelings are completely valid. I have taken my time sharing this statement as I wanted to process and respond respectfully and with the hope to gain a deeper understanding for the situation. During our relationship's final months, I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. These actions have caused a lot of pain to my ex-girlfriend, and I've since sought therapy to address these behaviors, making significant lifestyle changes to rectify my past actions. I've come to realize how much my past behavior hurt this person, but I truly compassionately believe that I have made great strides from the person I once was and hope I can continue to grow and improve on this trajectory. The allegation of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. Throughout our relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject that this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. I truly believe those personal message exchanges reflect mutual affection and understanding. Out of respect for her, I choose not to publish them, and I emphasize my perspective is not shared to diminish or invalidate anyone's feelings. Instead, I share it in the hope that I can offer a genuine, fair, and relevant insight into my understanding of the situation. While I may perceive our interactions differently, I recognize that this person has processed and expressed feelings of hurt. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain that I caused. I am fully committed to understanding and addressing her concerns going forward. I hope my perspective sheds light on the situation without detracting from its message. I am dedicated to earning and maintaining the trust of those around me, and I hope to continue to be held by these high standards I wish to attain and maintain. This apology really did not help Wilbur's image in the slightest. People claim that he was being narcissistic and not addressing what he had done. Realistically, no YouTube apology has ever been accepted well, so he really had no chance. There were also some allegations of Wilbur using AI to write the apology, but there really is not any evidence of that. Despite the lack of evidence, people have begun to believe that he did in fact use AI, because now that they don't like him, they will pile on any reason to justify that dislike. Shobo decided to respond to Wilbur on her stream.
And in my opinion, the most obvious thing to me is that the apology is not genuine at all. If it was, I would have been referred to by name, simply. I believe at bare minimum, a requirement for a sincere apology is to say the name of who you are speaking to. I think by not saying my name, that can only be done out of disrespect. That's what I believe. To me, it completely contradicts any claim to have changed.
His decision to not mention her by name does not mean that he doesn't feel bad or that he was just saying sorry just to say it. He did say that he had done wrong in his statement, to be fair. In the aftermath of all this, yet another person would come out against Wilbur, this time claiming that he had taken off her clothes while she was drunk. This is quite obviously a much more serious allegation than what Shovel said, and it is weird that Wilbur hasn't responded yet. Assumedly, he learned that people weren't going to believe him either way, so he's chosen to ignore it. Allegations aren't evidence as much as people online might want you to think that they are. It's important to wait for a more complete picture, but most online aren't willing to do that, partially due to the erosion of our attention spans made worse every day by things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and partially due to how YouTube drama cycles work. These stories have a short shelf life, and because of that, there will always be a rush to put out content surrounding the story, because you miss out on engagement by not being the first one with the scoop. I'm not saying that Wilbur had a great response, I'm not even sure I would say it was good, but people were never going to give it a chance, making it entirely meaningless from the jump. I don't know if Wilbur did the things he was accused of. No one except Wilbur himself and the two that were accusing him do, but I think they all should be heard out and considered, and we'll move on from there. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. Drop down your feedback in the comments. Give me your thoughts on what Wilbur Soot may or may not have done. Drop a dislike if you didn't like the video. Thank you all for watching. New video out next Friday.